we were talking just now about a lot of the similarities, but let's kick it off properly.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about yourself. Who are you?
So my name's Ben. I'm basically the face behind Rolling Project, really. So I'm a bit of a petrol-head. So what I call myself usually is a petrol-headed creative. I think you can go with that as well. So my background is graphic design and photography.
Yeah.
But even before then, it was all motoring, petrol, and even steam and vintage.
Yeah.
So, and that's where Rolling Project came around, really.
Yeah.
So that's my bit about myself. So,
yeah. No, and it was, but obviously before this we had a look at, obviously the two cars that I suppose you've been working on. You got your wedding coming up as well, so congratulations on that. And, you know, in terms of, you know, where it started, which is obviously quite close and quite sort of village and everything, which is awesome as well. So you've got the Triumph, which looks incredible, and again, like I didn't realise how low to the floor they were.
Yeah, that's our pride and joy, really. That was the car that kicked everything off. And yeah, I was about 8 years old when that car came into the family, really.
Right.
My father bought it, wanted a project, and even before then, I was always going to rallies with him and so on. But he wanted a project himself, and then I learned my car mechanics on that car, and it's always been my dream car, really. That car, being a kid, remembering asking my father if I can sit in the driver's seat, and even if it was in the garage, I would just sit and drive. But then when I managed to get my insurance to it and everything, it was a bit surreal to drive it, because after years of being just able to sit in the passenger seat and watch my father drive. And it's good. It's still in the family, and I use it quite a bit. And then I take my missus out in the spin, my fiance then, I should say. And then, it's been, to be fair, it's had a proper rework, really, ready for the wedding. So I'm excited to take that for a spin then.
Yeah,
really.
I think what's something that you just said, like in terms of like that first moment where you drive your father's car is massive. Yeah. I think like for any sort of boy growing up, any petrol head, like my father's always had, so quite the opposite. You've always had, we were saying, you've always liked the classic and sort of the old cars, where my dad's had like a lot of Beamers, nothing crazy, but you know, like the Golfs and the Beamers. Yeah. And I think the only one of his that I did manage to drive was it was all 5 Series, but I think there's just something about that moment. Again, you spend all that time as a childhood in the passenger seat, so it's, I don't know, passing of the torch. It's not that dramatic, but it does feel a little. It's a big moment.
It is a big moment, and it's hard to put your finger on it. Really, it's not like almost passing the torch, because in a way he still owns it, or he still looks at. He does most of the work on it, to be fair. But when it comes to driving it, I would use it more, because, to be fair, he's been on the edge of selling it multiple times, and I've said, I'm having it. I'm buying it. Yeah. I'll buy it, because it was the first car I ever worked on. I learned all my car mechanics on it, and when I say car mechanics, like basic, I've never went to college to do my car mechanics. I always just taught in my own time. It's a hobby, and the Triumph, I don't know, the looks of it. It captured the imagination when you were young. But like I grew up with the classic, vintage, and even steam, even older machinery, because of where we are today in my grandfather's garage. But it's always been older machines, and I do appreciate modern vehicles. I do, but then I think it's just how you grow up.
Again, but I think there's just something about all the machines, all the cars, like you say, and I think, like even recent experience, like I'm not a massive. Like I'm not like really mechanically minded or anything, you know. I try and have a go myself, but like even on that, as you saw, it's just like a standard X Trail. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you know, it's normal, boring, it's practical. Like brake discs, easy thing to do. On that, they're a nightmare, because electronic handbrake, you've got to plug. I like the battery, another thing. It went flat ages ago because I was piss-assing about trying to change brakes and this, that, and the other. Like that's all got to be coded in. Everything's just a nightmare. Whereas my first car was a Yaris T-Sport, so hatchback, nice little. You know, it was. I can say it now. It was like boy racery. It was chavvy. It had a stupid exhaust that I put on there after having the car for a couple of months. It was an acquired taste. Yeah. But working on that, you know, again, you know, it's not like a really old car. You know, 2002, I think it was. So much easier. Yeah. And again, I think when you go back even further than that, obviously, like it's just I don't know, a lot easier to work on, but I think also you can enjoy it a lot more.
Oh, exactly.
And you get a lot more out of it, and it's a labour of love and that sort of thing. So
it is labour, and yeah. Well, to be fair, I'm quite close to a X-Trail myself, because before the Land Cruiser, then we basically me and Chloe, we like going overlanding, we like camping, and she's got a horse, so we need something 4x4, and it was an excuse for me to buy a 4x4. and the first thing I remember going on Auto Trader, and I just saw an X-Trail, the T30 model, so the boxy shape.
Yeah, the proper X-Trail, because that's front-wheel drive.
It's front-wheel drive.
Front-wheel drive, yes. Yeah. Robbery.
Yeah, and I don't know why, I just really liked it.
No.
And I've bought cars before, and I've like grown up with it, so I know what to do, and you look into the cars and everything as a past and all that. I don't have car vertical, I know you're not sponsored yet. But I just spontaneous, just bought it. Went up to Porth in the valleys to pick it up. I loved the car. We both loved it, but everything went wrong in it. But it was 4-wheel drive. It's petrol, so drinking fuel, but it had the sport, so it had a spoiler in the back. It looked quite cool, and all. But we loved it, and it gave us that first like chance of freedom going overlanding, because it was 4-wheel drive. But then things started happening to it. There's a byway not too far from here, and we took another byway, and there's a video, and I joked, we'll have to get towed out here. When my father, he's got a Defender and 90 series, we'll have to be towed now. Literally on the way back, subframe comes off. And we were, luckily it happened there, because we live up in Caerphilly. If we drove down the M4 and happened then, it would be a different case. But, there's so many things happen to the X-Trail, but we still love it. And every time we see one, we always keep an eye out. And we'd always joke we'll buy one back.
Even like, obviously, it's just the old, I don't know, the old Japanese 4x4s, they're just so good.
They are, I've always wanted a Land Cruiser. So my father, as I mentioned, he's got the early Defenders. After they went from Series 3 into the Defender shape, he bought that a couple of years ago, and I never really thought about 4x4s. And I love the Defender, but when you want to go road tripping or you want to go overlanding and you want the comfort, and I drive the Land Cruiser on the roads, you want something a bit more sturdy, really. So I looked into Land Cruiser. They're so expensive. Same with Land Rovers, really.
They've gone crazy.
And some people will come against me, and I agree. Like, I would say the Prado is not quite a Land Cruiser, because you would have the 100 series, or you have something older, like an 80 or a 60 series, which I still look at. Like, I'm always caught on Facebook with, Chloe's always catching me on Facebook with the Facebook Marketplace open. But it's been faultless, really. Mechanical wise, it's been brilliant.
You can't go wrong with Toyota. Again, like my first car. I probably keep saying this on podcasts. People are probably getting sick and tired of it. I think I was like the 13th owner on it, like the 12th or 13th owner. So it'd gone for a few people. I think I had it for like 4 or 5 years, and it was just no problems at all. And then I got rid of it. Well, I didn't really get rid of it. It was a paperweight on my father's garden for a while as I got into an E93. Nothing fancy, diesel sport, but it was nice. And everything went wrong with that. It was just stage up. But no, it's.
But I do like the BMs. I sold it back in May. I was driving a E82, so 1 Series coupe. Diesel. I loved it, and it didn't. No faults. No fault. I had it for 5 years. Loved the car. I had everything: comfort, leather seats, Bluetooth, everything. But I sold it because it was a coupe, and I needed practicality.
It's the space,
So I've got a Bilingo van. Really, I drive every day. But when I've got something I want to go down for a weekend and rest, I'll take the Land Cruiser, because it's just nice to drive.
It's nice to drive. It's cool. It's big. Like they are. I do. I like it a lot. It's nice.
So, I like the BMW. I did look at was it E39 5 Series? Is it the early 90s?
It might be.
I think it's E39.
I'm off with the E's and then whatever.
But it was a 5 Series. I went up to Worcester to see one. I always like the 5 Series like an estate touring, and went up to Worcester to see one. And I was close to buying it, and then I looked at the tyres, and they were all different. And he was like, yeah, I've been drifting it. And I was so close, but I walked away.
As soon as they said that, then it was red flags.
Yeah, but you come across a lot. I've had a few close shaves, and then cars I do regret not buying. But that's what that's why I do the business side, and you should invest money into your business. But I'm so addicted with the petrol side of things and cars. I do spend quite a bit on parts, fuel for some because they do drink. But also that's where I get my enjoyment out. So. Well,
it's a slippery slope, isn't it?
But it is.
Obviously, you were talking there about the Beamer, which is quite different from obviously your first car. So obviously we spoke a lot about. Well, I spoke a lot about my first car, but your first car again, hatchback, but very different.
Yeah.
Arguably cooler than a Yaris T Sport.
I don't know. Mine. Well, yours probably didn't have. Well, did it rust?
Do you know? To be fair, it was all right. I think until I left it on a garden for a year, and then it got a bit manky in there. Yeah. Yeah,
I like those Yarises because my neighbour actually, Guion, he'd probably kill me if I said. Oh, he'll probably kill me anyway. But he had a Yaris, similar age, but it was just like the general one, basically the first low engine spec.
Yeah.
But he ragged the crap out of it. Really loved the machine. I loved the car, quirky and all that. And he rolled it in the lane up here within the week of passing.
Yeah.
And he said the fox ran across the road, but he probably was ragging it. But the car still went, and that showed Toyota's quality. But my first car, well, I bought my first ever car I bought was the Vauxhall Nova, that I showed you. So when I was 14, 15, so I don't know, I'm not sure if... not sure how many people know, but while I was growing up, I actually suffered with chronic kidney disease.
Yeah.
So growing up, I was very ill health. I would spend most of my time in hospital. So, and over 13 years of my life, I had one kidney partially working. So hospitals every 3-4 months, checkups and so on. Yeah. And motoring was that escape. So when the Triumph came on, when we had the Triumph, it was a way for me to learn something, but also go out with my father to have that release. It's an escape. So that's where I think I feel so close to these machines.
No.
And then when I had my kidney transplant in 2011, and I couldn't play rugby, especially down in West Wales. It's rugby or rallying, really. So I couldn't play rugby, and I'm glad I can because I am short and I would get smashed if I still played. But so I thought, you know what, I'll buy a car so I can work on. So I bought a Vauxhall Nova, and two villages away from us. And surreal moment. The car that I bought was in the house I grew up, basically next door to where I used to grow up.
Really?
In Pontevedra, just down the road.
Right.
And took it back on that day, as I was saying, I took it back on that day, the MOT was running out. So my dad took it back. We took it for a quick spin around the lanes and so on. Plan was to restore it and use it for my first car. Started stripping it, rust everywhere. But we both wanted to do rallying, me and my father, and we always went to rallies. And soon enough, the cage went in, we started stripping it.
No.
And we did quite a bit of rallying, especially down in Pembrey with Kidwelly Motor Club. And then, with rallying, you're going to have knocks. And then we realised how bad the rust was. It's been in hibernation for over 10 years.
Yeah.
But we had plans to bring it out this year. But then other projects came on and so on. But that was my first car. And then when I actually passed my test, I had a Citroen C2, which I love. And I love that car. I love that car to bits. And that didn't take long. That I ended up in a head, talking about Guion, my neighbour, he was a year older than me. He crashed the week after passing. I crashed as well, week after passing, going to Kidwelly Motor Club and picking up a mates. And they were like, if we go down this lane, you can take straight down to Pembrey Circuit. Fine. I heard Flynn in my passenger seat saying, 90 left. Rally mentality, pull the handbrake, nothing happened, straight into a ditch. And there's a picture of me with my foot under the back wheel because the car was up like this.
Oh my gosh.
And that was literally a week after passing the test.
Yeah. And
took it back and didn't tell got into the house after the motor club meeting. just quiet. My dad just turned to me, "You've hit the car, haven't you?" Yeah, went out, just front end all mangled. But that's all we did was beat the panels out, and I had it for 5 years. So, and I put bonnet pegs in, I had a Hornet exhaust, 1 litre. I loved it. It was, by the end, it was running on 3 cylinders, and I knocked it a couple more times, but I loved that car.
I think that they say that first car that you have and you sort of take out, and again, you just do all these silly things to it, and it's, and obviously you've still got yours as well. I wish, like I ended up sort of getting rid of it in the end because it was just knackered, and say I'm not massive mechanically minded myself, and it was my father's house, but I wish I kept it, and obviously you've got yours now, and you're showing me this, so you then, like I think you said, the hole underneath. Yeah,
the whole underneath is everyth's been welded back now. Panels have been cut. There's so much rust, especially if you know Novas, they rust bad, like rain channels, the rear arches, the bulkhead goes, everything's been done. We had an incident down on one of the rallies in Pembrey. We went over the rallycross track, went over a bump, and the front end completely came off. So that was all new. And then something else happened, so we thought, we'll retire the car and we'll put it back. But it's been on the road. It's been in the garage for 10, 12 years, probably longer, to be honest. But it's still there. And we've got all the parts from the original, so all the interior is still upstairs in the attic.
Yeah, I remember you saying
I think growing older, like getting older then, it's almost like I prefer the restoration and looking after the cars than ragging them, and especially at Nova now, they're people are looking after them. And it is a 3-door, no sunroof. It's solid shell now. We've got brochures for it, books for it, everything. So it's just one of those where it's just money and time, really. And that's for every project we've got. Hence, Rolling Project as a name, really.
So, I mean, talk a bit more then about, because obviously we've got examples here, and a lot of what we were talking about, your background in graphic and the passion for print and everything. And what you do is quite different, right? It's more collector sort of pieces in terms of these sort of type of booklets and publishings that you do for your clients. So talk to me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so, well, a bit of background about Rolling Project was when I moved from West Wales to Cardiff, I went to uni in Cardiff to do graphic design, graphic communication in the Met. So I thought, well, I can't bring my toys with me, like the tools and everything. So I always had a camera. I would always document me and my father working on the cars. So I thought, let's create an Instagram page, because most of my friends from school, they're more sport-oriented, rugby. Not many people want to see me post my personal content, all cars. So I thought, let's create another Instagram. So in 2016, when I went to uni, I started an Instagram page, originally called Coedo, it was called. So Coedo is slang for going flat out in Welsh. So, and I started creating that, and I post like photos I had, went to events in Cardiff, like car parks really, and like going to shows and things. And started posting and gradual following. And then I switched the name to Rolling Project because it was a term or a name me and my father would call our projects. So the name basically suggests Rolling Project as all our vehicles. They're never restored to a standard, or there's always something to do on them. So it's a continuous project, continuous endeavour. Like, so that's where Rolling Project came from. So we call all our projects Rolling Project. So I thought it's a personal touch, and I'm very, when it comes to things, I'm very personalised. So I like personalised the cars and so on. So I thought that was a lovely name. It's got a strong meaning for myself and my father, because to be fair, if it wasn't for my upbringing with cars and machinery, with my father, grandfather, I wouldn't be in this type of industry and have this hobby. But yeah, Rolling Project came along then, so as I kept on doing what I was doing. And then COVID hit. So COVID hit, all the events went out the window and so on. And I always had a fascination with magazines, and I wrote a couple of magazines and articles. So I did there's a Vintage Spirit and Old Glory magazine. They're mainly for vintage vehicles and steam and stuff. So there was a guy my grandfather knew who was an editor. So I started writing 1 or 2 articles and share photos I did. So that's got my interest into that type of editing side. But in graphic design, I love the editorial design things. So the rules of text and typesetting and things. So I can go really geeky into it. But that's what I really enjoy compared to creating logos and things. And I always had magazines, like with the Vauxhall, I had Total Vauxhall magazine.
Right.
And it was always Novas and Novas and Vivas and all that. And then Practical Classics and anything to do with the Triumph I would pick up. So, one of my favourite magazines that inspired this was Sunday Motoring. Right. And I don't believe they'd carry on, I don't think they're still doing their prints. But it basically was a creative company based in London and Lisbon. But they're similar to us, like creatives, but also like their motoring. Yeah. So they started doing the Sunday Motoring magazine. So it was a bit more, I don't have one with me actually, I should have brought one. But it was beautifully designed. No. And this is me geeking out on print. No, beautifully designed, different textures, different paper weights and so on. No. And I loved it. And during COVID, I thought, I got all these photos. Let's do something with it. Because the year before, I went to Cafe Machine and and for the first time and all that. And I thought, let's do a book then. So I think it was 2021. I posted onto my Instagram, and I had I don't know how many followers. I probably had 300 to 500 followers. And I was blown away. I had a lot of people messaging to say, I would love to be part of it. And I was blown away, like something so small. And it was something similar to one of the previous podcasts, talking about the YouTube. You can have the micro YouTube, and you're surprised how much followers and things you get out of just having a small thing. And that's how Rolling Project started. It was just like, and it still now, it's such a still small following, but it just picked up. And I have said it to them now and again, but it's a good chance for me to say it, but I'm always grateful to the people that signed up to the first magazine, so which was this. Right, okay. So that's actually my father, that is, working on the Nova. Yeah. And that's a couple of years ago now. And I was doing the back underneath, and that was a mobile phone photo, that was. Right. And I will never forget, be grateful for Baloo and Harriet. So Baloo was a beetle. Right. From Isle of Wight. Right? Really? So this small little Instagram reached Isle of Wight, and Harriet, she's a photographer, very talented, and she's self-employed photographer now as well. But she had a VW Beetle called Baloo. I think she still has it. And it was very, summed up, like a car is more than just an A to B thing. And that's what I wanted to capture. But also having Harriet, she was so passionate as well. And it is a very male-focused industry. And with Rolling Project, there's no, it's very open for everyone. Yeah. And that's what I love about it. And Harriet gave me an amazing article. And what I do with Rolling Project, I tell people to write what they would say, and then I do the minor changes. Just because if you go to a car show and you start looking around someone's car, it's them that says about the car. So that's one thing I liked about Rolling Project, or wanted to portray, is it's their voice, not mine. So I would always change if needed and make it sound better, but it would always be there. They've written the article, so they feel they've had a chance to be part 100%. Of it. But also we had Rob then. So Rob, he's worth having a chat with as well. So Rob's from South Wales, near Gelligaer Common. Right, okay. Penalt away. Mad C2. He loved the C2s. But I also related with him because he's a massive rally fan. Yeah. And he talks about in his article about his connection with rallying with his father. I was going to watch a Wales Rally GB and the RAC, and I love that article because I saw me and my father, and that's how we got into rallying. Well, my father he would always take me to these things, and because I had a C2 as the first car, I loved it. And he's got basically a maxi C2 Super 1600. So when the Super 1600 rally cars were a thing, Citroen came out with a C2, and it was such a mean-looking car. And I'm fortunate to work with Asa now. You might see it on Instagram, but Asa Pinder is a young rally driver, and he's got a Citroen C2 Maxi, or a replica. But it's when I first saw it off the trailer, I was like, oh my god, I need one of these. It's so cool, with a centre exhaust as well. It's really smart. But yeah, Rob and Harriet are very grateful for their articles for that first one. And then Lee as well, so LKRX. He doesn't rally cross anymore, which is unfortunate, but we had some brilliant days out. And that's where I got into being fortunate to be this close to Pembury. So Pembury circuit is just about 10 minutes down the road, and you would have rallycross there. And it's one of the best events in Pembury. So if you haven't seen the rallycross, I would urge you to go there. But Lee would come down and do it from, he was Kent way, so he travelled quite a far distance. And I'll never forget, I was down there for just spectator, and I took some photos of the paddock, and he had Excite energy drinks.
Right.
And I started looking at the Excite, and he asked me, if you take them, take some photo with the car, I'll send them over. So simple connection like that.
Yeah.
And I worked with him for 3 years then until after, just before COVID. So we sponsored him, and he got an article. He built an Astra then from, he had his VTS Citroen Saxo.
Yeah.
And he did that, and some brilliant rallies. We went on rallycross. He's crashed on one of the rallies down here in Pembury on the rallycross, rolled the car, caught on fire at the start of the day, and by the evening the car was back out. And it was one of those, I managed to film that, and it's actually still on YouTube. But it's just one of those, it was such a small privateer. There's so much stories. But yeah, this magazine started it all, and I'll always be grateful for those people who just gave their time, really. And everyone since, that's how it started. And you have to start somewhere.
That's it.
And I was probably naive and promised a lot of things and didn't know, probably like you said, things that happen quick and you don't plan ahead. But I will always be grateful for those guys who took part in that first magazine.
First one,
But so rambled quite a bit on that one. But so in this section, this was the first one we did, and this is the most recent. This was last year's one. So Rolling Project originally was a magazine for projects. So we capture different projects. Can be from cars to lorries to tractors, motorbikes, vintage vehicles, anything, to road trips. And then from there, I started talking to people with car collection. And they were like, I wouldn't mind a brochure for my car and so on. And I always loved that because I collected any car I sold. If they came with a brochure, I would keep it because I liked it. And I thought, let's get into that then because I enjoy the personal touch. So this is an example, and you probably know James from GDS in Caerphilly. He's been a brilliant supporter of Rolling Project, and him and Geth, they've got a massive thing going on there. But James, he's got a Plymouth Belvedere. So this is an example of what we do as well. So we do bespoke prints then. So this is the main hump, like the sump of the work. So we do this annually, but this is everyday type thing where people reach out to us to do a bespoke print. So collectors mainly, and we can't show much of them because private collections and so on. And businesses, so van conversion companies, restoration. So if they've got a client who've spent quite a bit of money on them, or they want something special to go with a special car, we go in, document the build. I write a full article on it, and then we can design it to suit the vehicle. So it was correct age of typefaces and fonts and things.
Proper into it then,
But it could be bespoke. So like this is just for the Belvedere from James. This is I created hardcovers for him, but this is just a soft cover. But this is 80% of what the history of the vehicle is, so Belvedere and Plymouth. But 20% of it is what he's done to the car. So we do a bespoke photo shoot, and then we go through the print, then we talk about everything he's done, and I do my own research on the car then. So the history of Plymouth and where the Belvedere came from and what mechanics it had and so on. So this is what if you come in to us for a bespoke print, this is what we would do. But if you're a collector, and some people would ask for a bespoke, like traditional print. So say if we have the Triumph, so the Triumph GT6 in 1973, I would go into do my research, and I would dig out original drawings and create a replica of the traditional, or the one that actually came with the car. So instead of like having just a random Triumph, we would have their car in the brochure then instead. But I can also outsource original documents as well. So if that's a new service. Just finding original artworks.
And how difficult is that to find?
It's quite difficult. So I've been fortunate to work with people in like Goodwood, and there's a guy that goes to Goodwood Revival quite a bit, and I've started talking to him, and he's usually there every year, and he's got brochures everywhere, and I usually ask him for tips, or if he's got one, and I purchase it off him then, and then sometimes I purchase it just for my sake, really, because it's nice to have stuff. So, but yeah, it's the main stamp of the work is bespoke and private stuff. So working with businesses and individuals. And then every year we do reach out to people throughout the year if we enjoy doing the photo shoot with them, or we've met them in an event. We'll reach out and we'll do an annual magazine then, which is on website then. But yeah, it's unique, it's a bit different. We're currently working on one with a armoured vehicle, so it's completely different.
That sounds bonkers,
so that's a different story altogether. But that one, we're going all out on that because it's been proper restored. It was found in a scrapyard in France.
Oh, really?
It was out in World War II during the Battle of the Bulge. So there's so much history in it. So the book is already a Bible. But we were even looking at wrapping, I'm looking to wrapping the book in canvas of the type of material they would use for medical bags. So we also bespoke it. So we don't just click and post it in a print. We spend hours typesetting, so making sure all the lines are correct. But also if the car is special, like another client we've got, we're working on a Gilbun, so we're going to wrap the cover in a canvas top, basically, just to make it more personalised to the car. And so we try and push all the stops and try and do what we can, really.
No, it's nice.
And I like that as well, and I like how much we love our cars. We want, and that's why I love doing this, because you meet people and their interests, like talking to yourself. Your interest with cars. That's what I love about it. So, and it's one of those things, like, Rolling Project's always been like a little side hustle. But it's just nice to be able to do something creative, which is our field, but also a passion as well, motoring. So.
And what you're saying there about textures, I think that's like so important as well, because if you think about all the textures and the feel of when you get into the cars and the stitching on the leather and everything, and to be able to translate that type of feeling into a physical product that people can then have and have done bespoke it's unique, and I think it's awesome. And obviously I've got a bit of a graphic background myself, more specialist in UX now, so I can really appreciate the amount of effort and the detail and everything that you've gone through in order to create these. And again, just looking at that and the typefaces and the graphics and everything within that, it's awesome. Like it's really amazing work.
Yeah, it's almost like the geeky side. I think everybody has a geeky side, like with UX or anything. It's just, that's what I I love looking into. So if it's with the Belvedere, for example, I went so much in deep dive. I was looking into like different factories, and I was Google mapping them and seeing if we can bring anything into it. And like the armoured vehicle now is so interesting, because Carwyn, the owner, he's massive into his military vehicles. And he goes out, he takes like Land Cruisers to Ukraine.
Really?
So he's massively into it. And but he's restored so many military vehicles. And his armoured vehicle, he's selling it. That's why he reached out originally. It was photographs for the vehicle. And then he wanted a print and so on. But yeah, the detail. So you're always stuck into cars or 4x4s or whatever. The armoured vehicle or military is completely different. It's like you can restore a vehicle, but then you can go even further, where people actually spend hours researching and finding accessories. So the correct ammunition, correct kit to go in. So, and it was one of the first times I ever done it. I did a photo shoot with Carwyn with his armoured vehicle for him to sell it. And he was like, we're going to do one with it undressed. I was like, undressed? What's it? But basically, undressed means it's basically just the armoured vehicle. And then dressed, it had everything.
All the toys on it.
Sleeping bags, correctly wrapped, binoculars, canteens, water bottle. Everything had its place. And it was just amazing, the detail that goes into it. So, and that opened, it just made me realise the world of that then. But yeah, he showed me loads of artifacts and things he had from the war, and World War II was mainly. And he even had like he had a diary from a project he went to see. And there was a diary of a German soldier.
Right.
And it had written in the diary was, like every day was written, Russians are a certain amount of miles out, because they were getting squeezed, basically.
No.
And one day, there was no answer, no response in the diary. So he either lost it or he would have been killed.
No.
And you realise these armoured vehicles, as cold as they are, because they are armoured and what they're meant to be used for, they were homes for many people anyway, like especially the crews. But also they carry a lot of personality and people who aren't here anymore. And that's what I really opened my eyes, the military side of things.
No.
So, and it's been an honour to do that book, and it's still ongoing. It's been 2 months.
Right, okay,
Usually a book would take about a month or so, but this one is at least another 2 months to go, really, because there's so much information, so much content to be added, but also we want to make sure it's spot on, and something he could be happy to show and also give to anyone who's going to buy the new tank, something to go with that as well.
So to your point there, so obviously with what you said with the Belvedere and obviously the military vehicle's quite different. So I suppose what have you taken from this sort of experience now of doing this military vehicle? Because like you said, there's like, I really like war stuff and military stuff as well. Like you said, it was home for a lot of the people in there, and so obviously, like you say, it's a cold vehicle on the outside, but actually there's so much emotion to it it runs quite deep. So how is that, or has it changed how you approach like all of your projects moving forward?
It's been, to be honest, I've always seen the emotional side of vehicles. I was sad and cheesy. Some people say, Ben, grow up, but I think with my upbringing with ill health, it always turns back to that, because it was a big impact for myself and my parents and so on. But being able to go to a car like the Triumph, for example, it was an emotional attachment. It was, for me, it was like I was happy to be in that vehicle. I was chuffed to be
a bit of an
sitting
escape
there.
sort of thing.
And I always see the emotional side, like I'm on that fence where I like calling my cars names, and I know a lot of people don't. And so Big Tilly is Land Cruiser. Yeah. Nigel was the X-Trail.
Right.
But I've always, because even that's emotional, putting a name to something, and it is silly. Like something if you're looking from a different pair of eyes, it is silly. But for me and Chloe, then, it's emotional attachment. Yeah. If something goes wrong, we want to get it sorted. Tilly now, Chloe wants to be taken to the ceremony in the 4x4, right? With the bridesmaids. Yeah. It means so much to us. And meeting James and the book I haven't got yet is the volume 2. So that was volume 1. Volume 2, we actually went up to see Carwyn, the MST. So within when they're building the new Mark 1 and Mark 2 escorts. Yeah. So they're not Ford escorts, they're MST escorts in North Wales. And I was very fortunate to go up there. And Carwyn showed me everything they were building up there. But even that, it was a business for him to build these cars and sell it to people. But emotionally, he rallied these cars. He rallied the Ford Escort. He remembers his father rallying those cars. Every farm, he lives on the farm. That farm was used for rallies. At the end of every person you meet in the car industry, there is an emotional attachment. Yeah. And even if they're not an emotional sod, like I'm quite emotional, I wear my heart on my sleeve type thing. Yeah. And it's not a bad thing. But it's just, if you're a cold-hearted person, that person is still emotionally attached to their vehicle. Yeah. And by doing these magazines, you see that. And I remember sitting with James and his Belvedere, and I loved the experience of that, because it's American, you're driving in UK on a bench seat, fuel in your face because the fuel coming back into the cockpit. But you could see how happy James was. He's a proper American. He's very American themed himself. But you could see how passionate he is with it. And then I don't have to look far. Like my father, he loves his cars. He loves his bikes. And talking about emotional, you probably don't see it on the camera, but behind here, that is a Honda Super Dream. Yeah. He bought that in COVID because his cousin had one, and his cousin was quite a couple of years older than him, and he was a police officer, riding bikes, and that was one of his. He had a Honda Super Dream, and he got killed. Not too far from here, he got killed. So in COVID, he was like, I want to buy a bike. And my father always had bikes until me and my brother came along, and my mum told him not to get rid of the bikes. But we were of a certain age, and I was looking to buy my own bike. And he was like, I'm buying a bike as well. So he bought that. And that's an emotional attachment because he remembers cleaning his cousin's bike. So it's all emotionally attached, you know, like. And my grandfather, like, he's emotionally attached to steam engines because that's all he knew. And growing up, like, on farms in West Wales, you had contractors coming in with steam engines to power the threshing machines on farms. No. So everything's emotional. And that's what I love about the Rolling Project and what we do with the books. It is, instead of just having a video, you're having something physical and you can keep it. And I'm trying to, like, even this is a Vox Aviva. You probably won't see it, but on the camera. But it's a Vox Aviva, but it's got a V8. Right. Sean, he's my age. He's not too far from you. Him and his father, like me and my dad, he grew up with his father loving rallying, and he just bought a Viva, put a V8 in it, and you know, like something bonkers. It's called the Brute for a reason. And again, every time I go down to see them, they bounce off each other. It's all emotion, you know. So that's one of the best things about Rolling Project. What I've seen about one of the best things is meeting people. Like, it's not doing the book; it's just meeting people. Like yourself doing this. Like, you know, I showed you the cars because I know you'd appreciate it as well. Yep. But you know, that's the best thing about Rolling Project, or being in motoring in general, really. Yeah.
And then we'll get onto the rally because I imagine there's going to be some pretty amazing stories there. But in terms of this final, like, output, then this final product that you then give, what's that experience like for you, sort of handing over something which is so personal, because it's obviously something that you work on for a long time. You get so much involvement, and you know, you see it all the time in terms of the emotion. What's that like, being able to sort of present this to, you know, these people that have so much?
That's a very good question. Because that's very good. It's deep. To be honest, it is brilliant because you use some of the projects. I get the chance to. I don't have the V2, and there was another Beetle in that one, and I was very fortunate to meet him when the car was had the car, and it was bare shell, nothing, like there was nothing, and then I did a photo shoot with him, like almost a year, and it was done. And that was probably one of the moments where I realized, oh my God, this is a full process. And that's what I think, when doing the personal ones and with the car collectors and some of the businesses as well, you can see the hard work that goes into it. And being able to, you know, there's a lot of effort that goes into these. Because I do the photo shoots, I do the editing, I write, I do the articles, I do the typesetting, proofreading. And then with the print, all the prints are done in Wales. I always wanted to keep it in Wales because, and I try not to keep it in one printers if I can, work with smaller printers. And then I do try and bring creatives on as well. And that's what I want to do more of, moving on. Because it is a lot of work, but it's also nice to give back because everybody's given me something. It's something I want to give back. But being able to work like this and show someone, it's almost like they can see the hard work that's gone into it. But also, like, you see people light up because it's almost like they're like, I did this. Like I've got my car from here to there. I think with, like, I'm looking to launch a YouTube channel now in October. It's been moving. It was September wedding. Have to move it back. But like doing YouTube, even podcast, and a lot of editing, a lot of work. But then with the print as well, it's like they see the work, and I touch base on them when I can to say, right, it's at this point, can you have a read of this if you're happy with it? They see the work that goes in, and it is so rewarding on my side, but it's more rewarding when I see someone like joy, or some people just take a step back. You know? And to be fair, James, he's been massive for Rolling Project, like, encouraging me to come down to take some photos, or because I actually live in Caerphilly, and it's on my doorstep. And Baffle House, I want to say a big shout out to Baffle House because Andy, Sam, and the guys there, they've helped me quite a bit because I quit my job to do alongside Rolling Project. Rolling Project is like still a side hustle in a way, because I still do marketing on the side. But for advice and support, they tell me, oh, there's an event coming on, buy tickets now, and and I had a hiccup a couple of weeks ago when my Instagram got lost. And I was devastated because it's been on for over 10 years, Instagram, okay? And I messaged Andy I messaged Baffle House, the guys at Baffle House, and said, do you know what this could be? And they didn't, to be fair, but nobody knew. But they were like, keep doing what you're doing, start fresh. And that's the beauty of motoring group, like the motoring space, really. You do have a lot of people who are in your corner, and you don't, sometimes you don't realise it unless, like, shit hits the fan type thing, but yeah, it's so rewarding giving a print to someone. And you build that emotion, like connection with them then, because I always follow the guys and see what they do afterwards. It is very rewarding.
This episode is sponsored by Photo Loco. Look, we've all done it. You've cleaned the car, the light's perfect, you've driven 45 minutes to that amazing spot some bloke on Instagram half mentioned in a comment, and you arrive to find it's a little car park with 3 skips and a man eating a pasty. Photo Loco fixes that. It's an app built by car photographers for car photographers. Open it up and you'll find hundreds of automotive photography spots dropped onto a map by people who actually know what they're doing. Multi-stories, mountain passes, abandoned airfields, industrial backdrops, the lot. Across England, Wales, Europe and growing every week. Find spots near you, save your favourites and keep your best spots private so they stay yours, and add your own to the map for the community. Free to download on iOS and Android. Photo Loco. Stop scouting, start shooting. And I think what you said there about like the car community, and obviously I can't speak for the rest of the UK, I imagine it's quite similar, but in Wales, and it's something that I've noticed and had a lot more exposure to doing this, and obviously being more, making TLNTD more of like a personal brand and being more out there, is that there are so many great communities, and the car culture as a whole, there's so many amazing people in that are always willing to help and that sort of thing, which is epic, like you said with some of the stories there. Obviously we will get to the rallying, but you've talked about how amazing it is when you give these these outputs, these products to these people. What are some of the challenges that I guess you face? Obviously we're in this world, I guess, where everything is computer first, digital first. You've got AI as well, which is obviously massive. What are some of the challenges that I guess you face? Some of the things that maybe people don't see that are quite difficult that you sort of have to sort of deal with or maybe struggle with when it comes to doing something like this.
Age of AI, being a graphic designer anyway, or a photographer, like anything. AI, it's a friend and foe, isn't it, really? Because people take advantage to create those god-awful, terrible leaflets and posters, and being a graphic designer or creative as well, you understand how hard work. And that's probably the biggest challenge, is basically showing people the actual hard work behind it, but also get the interaction from it. Because I've got loads of content of the process. I'm very, even though we still design on computers and work on computers, I'm still a pen and paper type of guy. And I write everything down, plan ahead, everything from the book. Everything is like layout and wise. It's all like boxes with boxes and squiggle lines where the text is going to be. There's a big process, and like say for one print, like for the armored vehicle, for example, I could fill this floor with all the sketches. Portraying the value of one of these is quite difficult because people got Canva or AI now, where they could do it, bang. But there's no personality in there. There's no connection, or there's no. Again, it's like there's no soul. As cheesy as it sounds, it's like I think. And going back to that previous question, it's almost like people see your hard work. It's not click of a button type of job. The amount of times I print, in a way, that it's not a feasible business really, because I actually charge quite cheap for what it is, because people won't buy it otherwise, or won't want it in a way. But I probably make a loss on the print, really, because I get proofs done, and then I spend hours looking at correct, scribble that out, redo it, print again. So it's nice to, I'm quite transparent saying all that, but at the end of the day, that's the work behind it, and I will never change it. I wouldn't want to cut corners, because you meet people who work tirelessly on the cars, evening and night. Under the car, rust, working on the rust, covered in rust, sparks, cutting, hitting their knuckle on the, doing something on the car. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and that's just as it's that amount as well. Yeah. I think that's the biggest challenge. It's actually putting a price on it, but also like showing people it's not click of a button and ChatGPT or AI or whatever type of software you use. It's actually designed, typeset. That's the biggest challenge. But also, I think with it's all started from photography, and like I still put photography as a service. I still offer photography just as a service. But people, for anyone starting out as a young photographer, and you've probably gone through it as well, is get people not paying or don't want to pay. And with cars, and machinery, in a way, it is difficult, because I remember watching a podcast. I was video like North Borders, one of the North Borders. I used to follow him quite a bit, because he's just a header and he's similar age. And I like the Aussies, especially with the Land Cruiser. But he was talking. It's almost like with putting price on vehicles and car photography. It's almost like a leisure. It's not. With a business, they need to pay someone. To have someone. It's almost like it's a hobby. People don't expect to be paying for it. No, that's it as well. But I think those are the challenge, being a creative. The AI and people appreciating the work, because doing the podcast, you've been here to set it up and all that. It's not click, click, click and things happen. And that's the biggest challenge of any creative, any industry, really. But with Rolling Project, it's showing people like it's not a week process. I can get the photos done within 2 weeks, whatever, for you. But when it comes to print, like every tick box has to be ticked.
So if you are listening and you use AI for your event posters, stop.
Please don't. Please.
Support creatives, seriously. So again, what I was saying earlier, I started TLNTD very similar in terms of a bit of marketing, bit of design, and I was just like, I just want to do something and just be anonymous with it and see where it goes. And I was quite fortunate enough where I built up a bit of a community around that. And something that you said earlier as well, which I really resonate with, is around when you do these articles, it's their words. And God, years ago, I used to do similar thing. I guess this really it was called like a build breakdown. And I was inspired by all the fast car and the Jap magazines when I was growing up, because that's what I had access to and was reading and watching, and inspired by that, and wanted to try and replicate that, albeit just digital, not physical at all like this, because there's so much to this, and I, coming from a similar industry, I can really appreciate that. But again, it's something so nice, even just doing something digital and using their words and framing it. And the challenges with magazine printing and just physical stuff. We had Max's Millsy. We did a podcast, founder of Max's magazine, and was sort of one of the pioneers in fast car. And he's doing this Max's magazine now. And again, it's so difficult, I think, in this world where everyone wants everything. They want it now, and they don't want to wait. And when you do that, you do cut corners, and you lose all of the emotion and all the hard work that goes into something like that. Like
the magazines. It's almost like it is dying, because you could say it's dying thing, but it's been slowing down for years, and I don't think it'll ever slow down, because people like the physical side of it, and you do get more the strong editorial designed prints now, rather than the over commercialized prints. So, and I remember I came across Slick's magazine, which is quite a new thing, I believe, on Instagram. I just came on Rolling Project, and I thought, this is brilliant. And he's a young creative as well, I believe. And it's all motorsport focused, and it's beautifully designed. It's stunning mag. And then you've got Road Rat as well, which is, again, lovely print, different, Bible of work. And yeah, I think print will always be a thing.
Yeah.
And it's just being, still introduced to the digital side. Like with myself, there's so much work to do YouTube or TikTok or Reels or content. And time is very precious, isn't it? So we've started, I filmed a couple of videos already, and I wanted to film a couple so I can start posting without that pressure. But with time and everything, it's hard. So we have a YouTube channel coming up. So it's not like we're going all print. Yeah. But with the YouTube, it will eventually come. But again, we'll still want to bring the same interaction. We won't want to do, the same type of content you see online. No. We'll do a lot of behind the scenes of print and talking the importance of print and stuff we were talking today, really. And talking to projects owners as well, and document those builds in a digital form as well with a print as an outcome then. So. No,
yeah, definitely. Like, again, on the print front, so my wife's an illustrator, so we do a lot of prints, and she does a lot of poster prints and that sort of thing as well. So I sort of cheekily pinched the printer and start, my office now at home is just basically covered in various sort of car shoots and stuff that I've done, because there is just something much more powerful and there's just more to a print, and I think, and when you have that, and again, when I do photos, it's just the print of the photo, right? There's nowhere near the amount of effort and everything that goes into something like this. But even that is so nice for people, and you sort of go there and you can say, here's some prints. Yeah. So to give them something like that and to go through everything, and that it must be quite an interesting feeling at the end, almost like a relief, I guess.
It is a relief. It's almost like watching someone driving the car after so long, being in the car. It is that relief of passing it. And then, I've gone to events where I've bumped into someone who have done the book, and the book is on their dashboard. So it's a great way to show people what the project's about. It's basically like that thing there. I could bring it into the scene, but that is a board with all the information about this international family, and it's quite a rare old vehicle. They came over from America during the war. And in that frame is just pictures of the tractor in different stages of build. And you see that in car shows where people put like a frame with various, or a photo album. But what we're doing is enhancing that and creating a book or a vehicle brochure to go with that vehicle then, but with words and their voice, really. Yeah. So, it is very rewarding.
No, it is. It's, again, I definitely can appreciate the effort that goes into it, and it's awesome. So you were saying that obviously that's quite rare, but we were also talking about one of the other bikes that you've got behind as well.
So in this garage, this is my grandfather's garage. So while me and my father were more petrol and motorsport, this is where the vintage and steam was. And you might recently on my Instagram, I've been pushing a lot about steam because I went to Welland Steam Rally, and steam was one of my first loves, really, because my grandfather had a steam engine, traction engine, and if you don't know what they are, they're massive agricultural machines, and powerful. They ran the world, basically. They were massive machines, and then there's a lot still around. People look after them, and they're part of heritage now. And growing up in that vintage era, that's always excited me. And behind me, we've got the International Family. So this was one of the most recent projects for my grandfather. Unfortunately, he's got Alzheimer's now, but he's managed to do a lot of work to it. But it was done well before, But this came over during the war. These International Comics, they came over during the war because all the we needed the support. So these were on farms. It's quite quirky because the steering, you're basically on a lopsided almost. You've got the steering wheel on this side, and the engine and the box is on the other side of the axle. So it's a bit quirky to drive. But even older than that, we've got, behind here under a blanket, we've got an Argosson, it's called. So Argosson invalid carriage. And it's the deluxe. So I don't think it was much luxury involved, but it was just a model. But he's had that for years. And it originally just shell and chassis. And shell and chassis, and he restored it, and basically it's the oldest one out of 6 still left in the world, and there's 2 still on the road or still privately owned, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
The other one is in South Africa. And that one hasn't seen the daylight in a while now because only my grandfather knows how to drive it.
Right.
So an invalid carriage was designed for people with no use to their legs. So it was popular during the war, after the war as well. But that was one of the early models. Yeah. And it's all hand steer. So you started by cranking it with 2 levers like this. Right. You steer with one and the throttle on the other. And it's very quick. It's 3 wheels, so 1 wheel in the front, 2 in the back. And it's almost like a sofa seat. But a very quirky machine. But yeah, 6 in the world, and that is the oldest one up to the 6. Yeah. So yeah, that's one day it will be on a YouTube video. Yeah. And to be honest, that is in our Volume 2 magazine again, which is in here. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, that Agason is one of a kind, and
it's fascinating.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's always been vintage vehicles in this space, from steam and coal to PTO and yeah, I don't know what that engine is now. It's not even a 2-stroke. It's one of those. But that's the different world and different generation, because he has fascinating stories and a massive history of why he got into it really. Yeah. So yeah.
No, it's really interesting. And again, I think we were saying that 1932, like it's
1932, I believe it was. Yeah. So that is the oldest vehicle we've got in the fleet, really. Got to say. Because,
it is fascinating. So I think I did say about 20 minutes ago we're going to get on to rally. So we are, I mean, you've given so many great stories already of various people ending up in hedges and rallying. And you said, that was such sort of an important part of, I guess, you growing up, and obviously the story with your car and everything as well. So talk to me a little bit more about that in terms of that journey with your father as well.
I think rallying, when I think of rallies, that motorsport, I think if you're from this neck of the woods, it'll always be rally. Yeah. Even you've got Pembrey track on your doorstep, but it's mainly rally down here. Every village has a rally car. Growing up, me, my brother, and Gwion, I mentioned, my next neighbour, a year older than me, and then another guy in the village, another Matthew, so my brother's called Matthew as well, so all 4 of us, growing up, where we're based in the Gwendreth Valley, just outside Kidwelly, you had night events. So night events is road rallying. They don't close the roads, they just rally late at night. And for years, growing up, my father and Gwion's father, Mark, would take us out in the lanes, watching it come through. So I grew up with the sound of Ford Escorts and screeching and brakes squealing. And even in late at night, you could hear the boys testing the weeks before. And rallying always had that, connection. So when the Nova came home and we realised it was a bit of a rust bucket, we thought, well, we always wanted to rally. My father got me into rallying. I used to go to the Wales Rally GB when I was 3 years old, on his shoulders. And that was when it was in Swansea, it was based in Swansea. So we spent loads of time out in the rain watching rallying. And then the Nova came on the scene. We started stripped it down. Luckily, a good friend of ours, James, he's a vehicle electrician, basically. He works with electrics, and he was a massive Nova fan. So we had a lot of help from him, basically. We did an engine conversion on it. We got a 1.4 in it now, caged, all pipes inside, brake lines. So we did the whole hog on it, really. We did a lot of rallying down in Pembrey, track Motorcana, which is basically an auto test. Kidwelly Motor Club did. And rallying was like doing the rallies with Nova was brilliant. And to be honest, I didn't do much after that with the Nova, since it went into the garage, but I still follow rallying and I still work with rallies. I'm very fortunate to work with Ocean Price, have been, and Asa as well, and the guys with James Williams and Mark. I'm very grateful to the opportunities by being in rallying and just rocking up to your own local track. You meet people, and that's so important. And I don't take anything for granted, because with how things go with health and all that, you take every day for granted. So just meeting people in general, like with a rally, I never in a million years I would be able to say, I've been sat in an R5, like in a fully spec rally car, or like talking to someone who's won a championship or done something. It's just, I put people on pedestals, and I take it for granted. But rallying's always been my sport, and I wouldn't say I'm a rally driver because I just do it when I can because the Nova is never on the road. But I'll be there to watch a rally and support anyone in that sport. But I just like motorsport in general, really. But the rallying has that, again, going back to it, emotional touch.
No.
Like the lanes around here every night, even tonight now, you'll probably come across a rally car on the way home.
Yeah,
it's one of those. It's one of those. It's just, you're so fortunate. And the boys, when I hit my C2, the guys there, Flynn and Kurt, they're both rally drivers. Right. They've got their families and stuff now as well, but they do rallying. We've got that. Like Guyon, my next door neighbour, we both wanted to do some auto test together. And I've got some cracking stories with the Nova with a friend from school. We both grew up as petrol-heads, both had fathers who had classic cars. No. And we just bonded over that. And he's a good friend of mine, James, another James. Everybody's got similar names. Yeah. And I'll never forget, we passed, so when you're 17, if you were 17, you could have someone of similar age to sit with you. So if you did a rallies under the age of 17, which I started doing with the Nova, I am my father. No. But when you're 17 and you pass the test, you could also have someone that was 17. So I had him sitting with me. So we were like, right, like we're going to go flatter. Because with your father, it's almost like, slow down now. Yeah. So James and me were in the car, and I said, first stage, we'll take it easy just to get used to the stage. And I took the car up. It was an auto test. It was like a motor car there. So it wasn't like a proper rally. And it wasn't road-worthy. Any car could be, as long as it's road-worthy, it's fine. So I took my car up, rust everywhere. And the guy at one of the marshals started laughing. Said, your car's got loads of holes in it. I started taking, and I got emotional. I was like, he's taking the piss out of my car. So I thought, watch this. So
famous last words.
Yeah. Bloody longest number 11s on the floor. Skids right up to the first corner. And pulled the handbrake. Come in, perfect. Did the stage. And before, I remember telling Jay, I'm not going to do the handbrake. Just get used to the track, stage. But because of he got into my head, so I pulled the handbrake. No. Go back to the stage, past the finisher line. I was like, what the heck? What's wrong here? Looked down, my handbrake was still up. I was like, oh my God, I did all that, and my handbrake was still up. And I was embarrassed. You could smell the brakes and everything. But it was just one of those stories, like, I'll never forget it. I had my stag do a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to James about it, and we were just stitching, just laughing. I'll never forget. And that's what you get with rally, you get the loads of stories. And you could talk to anyone in rallying, and there's so many stories. Rallying is a bit one of those, you have to bodge to make it work on stage and so on. And a friend of mine, he had a Peugeot 205. And instead of a hydraulic handbrake, he had just a normal handbrake. But instead of clicking the button in, he drilled a hole and put a screw in. So to put the handbrake up, he had to hold it up like this. Right. So he had a puncture. He stepped out of the car and told the navigator to hold the handbrake up. He went under the car. The navigator just dropped the handbrake. The car went over him. Oh my goodness! But they were just. He was a big bloke anyway. Yeah. But it was just those little stories you get, like with rallying. It's and that's what I love about rallying. And you go to with Asa now. So I'll mention a lot about Asa. So Asa is a young rally driver, and I've been fortunate to work with him and his father Mark. Yeah. And he's starting his rallying career, and it's impressive because he does his go-karts originally, right. And he goes on. He's started going into rallying. He did juniors. Now he's got a C2 Maxi, I think I mentioned, and you can see him progressing. Yeah. And he's a great driver, and you can already see there's stories coming out of the rallies, and it is nice to be in that position. But you're very fortunate to be around those people, and even if you're not the driver or driving, just being able to be there taking photos, it's nice to be there, and especially if you've always thought about doing it, or like always wanted to be buy a rally car or buy a motorsport car.
Yeah.
Just by picking up a camera and start talking, it's so important because you can network.
I mean, so I only picked up a camera last April, I think. Wow. So I'd done TLNTD up until that. Picked up first camera last April. And I'd been on the fence, and I kid you not, for about 5 years, on and off the fence. It's been in my wish list on Amazon for ages, and I ended up getting like free tickets to go to Japfest. So I suppose it was my, I don't know, like my first. Like I've been to car shows and everything, but never in a capacity to do any sort of like go there with an intent to take photos and that sort of thing. So I was, oh shit, all right, I better sort a camera out then. And literally I picked it up, and then I went, I think there was a weekend that I did at Apex race rooms. Yeah. And then the weekend after then it was Japfest. And just this year, like the difference in picking up a camera, I mean, the opportunities, I think you'd have to be lucky as well, but I think putting yourself out there, this year, I've like some of the cars, like an F40, at Lowe's and Ignition, even last weekend before last, seeing things like a Countach at Prescott, and you just think, I don't know, like you said earlier, right? Like in terms of, you never think, oh my goodness, I'm going to be able to do all these sort of things, or even see these sort of things. I mean, to the point, I think I put it on my story that the only Countach that I'd ever seen growing up was on the Cannonball Run. Yeah. They've got that intro with that car, and that intro with that car is iconic. So to see one in person for the first time is crazy. And like you say, picking up the camera and just putting yourself out there. There's so many opportunities, so many great people that you can meet. Yeah. And also as well, you mentioned about Pembrey. So I think you were at Pembrey pretty recently as well, doing some work. So talk to me a little bit more about that as well.
Pembrey is my local track. It's just down the road. And as kids, we would go down. Well, my dad would take me down. My father used to race down there. He used to do a lot with motorbikes. But Pembrey is, you can hear when there's an event, you can hear it from here. Right. Okay. Because the valley is literally just up the valley, so you hear the sound. So if there's something on, we'd pop down then because something's on. But yeah, Pembrey is brilliant. It's they could, one thing I would love to see with Pembrey is more events, because over the years some have come and gone, and you've got the repetitive like Convoy Cymru and British truck racing, which you have to go to. I've been going every year because it's good. The guys in the truck racing is a good experience because they're all down to the ground, salted earth type of bloke, but they're all northern as well, but they love what they do, and it's all proper. For a photographer, it's brilliant because these machines are so big, you can get close to them actually working on them, and it's all big tools like mallets, all this, hammers and all this. But Pembrey has been brilliant, for events and just going to motorsport in general. And that's again taking the camera down, you meet people. And I remember taking Chloe down with me start of the year for a rally, and I started walking around, and Chloe like, everybody knows you, but it's like people I actually just talk to when I go down there. It's just like, it's not like people know me because of rolling power. It's just, if you show up to anything, it doesn't have to be cars. If you show up to something, start talking to people, be polite, show interest, be honest. If you're not interested in that, I don't bother talking. Yeah. But if you're showing interest in what they do, that's how you're gonna. It's as modern. We're talking about AI and all that. As modern marketing is and all that, and followers and all that. Word of mouth is still king, in my opinion, especially down this neck of the woods. But yeah, Pembrey is. I love going down Pembrey because it's just local, and it has that like. I know the track because I recently went to Silverstone with Asa and Mark because they're from that neck of the woods. Yeah. And I was lost because one corner in Silverstone is probably the same size as Pembrey, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not right. I shouldn't be here. But Pembrey, we had a rally down there recently that was another rally. So Fairfield Stages in July, that was.
No.
That was a good day, boiling, warm. And that's one thing, if you haven't been to Pembrey, is be prepared for any weather, because it's got its own climate. You're by the coast there. But that's why Pembrey was one of the main practice grounds for Formula 1 teams. See? So I think Button used to do a lot there. But you had Ayrton Senna is the lap record holder of Pembrey. So my father remembers. He's always grown up in this area, and he remembers hearing the Formula 1 cars, and people would sneak over the fences just to catch a glimpse. You know? And I'm not a massive I appreciate Formula 1 and the tech and all that, but I don't follow it massively. But it must be even now they've got the Supercar Motorsport Festival every September.
So
and they do bring the Formula 1 cars out, and I've never seen a Formula 1 race, but that was the first time I've seen a Formula 1, and the sound and the ground shakes. It does have that little its stature, you go, oh my God, wow, you can appreciate the tech, and especially when it's 90s, 80s, it's like pure sound and mechanics.
So that festival that you were just on about there, so I was just about to talk about that when you said all climate, because I met up with a good friend Kerry, and we drove down. Now in that, obviously, I've got the clearance and I'm fine. Yeah. So when there is a flood on the way in, I'm not bothered. I'm suited for that. But some of the other cars then, some of the supercars that were on display that day, and I know quite a few of the guys, they sort of messaging on WhatsApp, just be like, watch out, there's a bit of a deep puddle.
Yeah.
And come the end of the day, it was boiling. It is all climate there, but what's really nice about Pembrey as well is that it's such a close circuit. So when we went, and it was actually only my first time, I think, in memory, going to Pembrey at that festival last year, just going there, and again, like you say, being able to just walk around the paddocks, and you are, Formula 1 cars there, and you can go and have a look, and you can talk to the owners, and they've got everything off and all the covers, and again, Formula 1, I grew up, I remember getting up at 4 o'clock or stupid o'clock in the morning with my father to go and chuck on the Australian GP and that sort of thing. So there's that sentiment and that emotion there for me as well. And being able to go and see something up close like that, it's awesome. And, I think on that event they had the supercars, they had the F1 cars, the bikes and the drift demos as well. Yeah. So it's a really good track. I haven't been to see the lorry racing. I have heard amazing things about it. I think the size of them is crazy. And when I say it's quite a close track, you can park up on the bank, get some chairs out, and you can see everything. It's amazing.
The drama of the tracks is good, because you've got, they've got coolers to cool the brakes, the steam coming off the brakes. You've got the screeching, the tyre wear, and they're so big, they fill the track. So, you're going to have contact. It's such a sight to see, and Rallycross is still one of my favourite events there, because they're probably the closest thing to the Formula 1 car speed-wise now. Because, but the trucks are there, if you're looking for atmosphere, like crashes and all the drama of racing, that Rallycross I love, because you've got these super Rallycross cars, or supercars they call them. They've got the anti-lag, and you can hear them coming up to the paddock, and as soon as, say there's 8 of them on the in the grid, you switch your anti-lags on and they just rumble. You can feel the ground shake from the other side of the track, and the power and the torque in them. You just see them hit they're amazing to watch. So that's coming in later this year, the Rallycross. But they're going back to the supercar thing, so I've got a story of that one as well. The first one they did, and I did a lot with car clubs. I don't really do much with car clubs at the moment. No. Because car clubs is a different topic as well, isn't it?
It is a different topic.
I did a lot with car clubs, and I did a lot with some great. And what I loved about it, to be fair, I was looked after in these car clubs, which I think a lot of people have different experiences with car clubs. Yeah. And I was looked after, and I enjoyed my time in car clubs. I went abroad with them, and I was a photographer. I had the chance to drive a Porsche in north of France, and not many people could say that. I was shit myself, but it was just like, I was so grateful, so appreciative of it, because you can't take it for granted, and because all of a sudden I don't do anything with car clubs anymore. And, that was a point of time. But I remember the first time they did the Supercar Fest, I basically exhibited the Triumph on the day before. Right. There was a charity event, so I exhibited. But I wasn't allowed there on the Sunday for the Supercar. So luckily, the guys from this car club, they basically said, "Oh, Ben, here's a ticket, bring your car in." So I was packed in the centre of the paddock, where you had a Lamborghini Hurricane. You've got a picture of Ben's Porsche. Is it Ben?
Yeah, Ben Powell.
So he's got, Ben Powell. So Ben Powell, I know Ben Powell well because I remember him. I went to France with him in the R8. Yeah, the R8. Right, okay. And I love that car. And he had the R8 there. I think there were a couple of McLarens as well. And then there was a little Triumph GT6 right next to it. And I was like, yeah, that's me. But that was a time where I felt like I was looked after, and they were happy to have me there.
Yeah, I will.
I know I've heard a lot of people say they have mixed things with car clubs. So sometimes in regard to the business, I try to keep it away, but I still want to do stuff with car as a personal side of things.
I think with something like that, again, you can only talk about your experiences, and it's funny that you bring up that picture of Ben's GT3, the yellow one he had, because I have it framed behind me, and that was the first chance, the first opportunity I'd ever had to take a rolling photo, and it was Dan who had the yellow R8. So I was on the M4 hanging out of this R8, and then you've got Ben's GT3, and then Lee, one of the other founders of the club, had his I'm pretty sure it's 458, and that was a random Wednesday, a random Thursday. One of them reached out and was like, "Oh, we love your stuff. Do you want to come and, we're going to be at this point shooting some, doing the cars and shoot some photos." And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." And I was a little bit cheeky in hindsight. I was like, "Oh, do you need any rollers?" Because I think, you can be a little bit cheeky, I think, sometimes. I mean, it paid off, and I'll forever be grateful for that, because that day I was in an R8, Ferrari and a Porsche, and I'd never ever been in a Porsche or a Ferrari or an R8. So, to have that experience and jump between the three cars, and I'll be ever grateful for that. And I think, with things like that, you can only talk about your experiences. There's other great communities and clubs as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's
one of those. It's like you hear stories of after done with the car clubs, but in my personal experience, I've always had a good experience, and people have looked after me. I looked after the business, helped promote it. Some people I probably don't talk enough to anymore, and I don't even see, because I spend quite a lot of time in Baffle House, just because it's quite sensibly close, especially if I'm taking a Land Cruiser, because I don't want to risk that. But because the Land Cruiser has actually been off the road for a while, I am looking to do a bit of a road trip to Ignition Shed, the guys in Ignition Shed, and the Pit Stop. Right. Because I haven't been to them, either of them yet. They're both, I've always wanted to. And typically, events sometimes land on a day I can't do. Yeah. So it's just like, I will be going, and I want to go and meet people and meet the guys who run it. But yeah, it's like, now I just spend time at Baffle House, or I go to other events. Like I'm going to Food and Fuel tomorrow in Chelsea Walsh. Yeah, of course. So that'll be a great laugh. And I've done a lot of work with, there's a book there actually for Chelsea Walsh I did a couple of years ago. But I love Chelsea Walsh. So I go to events, but like locally, like Baffle House, because in Caerphilly, and then Pembrey, because it's local here, really. But yeah, I am aiming to do a bit more. So I think you might have seen on Instagram, I recently did a lot with Lewis. He's got a Triumph TR6. Yeah. So I'm a big Triumph fan. Hence the Triumph GT6, growing up with it. I'm always a Triumph fan. So I remember going to Italian night in Baffle, and Triumph is in an Italian car. It rocked in. I was like, made a beeline for it. Yeah. So I talked to him, and we were talking about doing maybe a classic car meet, organising something like that down in Ogmo. But also, like, I want to bring the Triumph up and do a road trip with him, and like that's what I love doing personally, off topic to rolling project really. But I need to go to Ignition Shed, and that's where probably I will bump into old faces like Ben and the guys, and sometimes like, I follow the groups they're still in, and I still it's hard because I feel like, especially being a classic car vintage, I don't really fit in, like rocking up behind. But it's just
How do you think I feel with my
well, both in the same boat. But yeah, it's just like, it's like, I don't fit in. I don't have a McLaren or anything like that. But you want to still be involved, and as a photographer's point of view, you want to get the photos of them.
No.
And to be fair, when you were talking about the print, I was thinking about the yellow Porsche, because I see the yellow Porsche every time you talk in your office.
Yeah.
So it's just I do miss like the car clubs side of things, but it's almost like trying to find something that works for myself in a way, because it's come to a point where like going with 4x4 groups maybe, or going with the Triumph, for example. That's where I should be going, really. But when you meet people in the car industry, you like in that car clubs and stuff, there are people you still want to catch up with.
Oh, no, 100%. I mean,
and you do come across them.
Yeah, I mean, Ignition's great. I've been Ignition loads now, and I think the great thing with Ignitions is you've got loads classics as well. So not only have you got like amazing coffee, great snack. Every time I go there, I've always got to get like the cookies and the snacks and take them home to the wife and that sort of thing, and the kids. But you've also got this amazing showroom where, you know, they've got like the Drift Games 240, and then they've got like a 34A, and then a DeLorean, and amazing things. And it's a great venue as well. And you know, shout out to them, because they're always really accommodating, and they're awesome vibe there. The pits I've been to once, and again that's good as well, because it's nice and close. And I know I think Driven have got an event on next Friday actually. To just I might go and just turn up and say hello.
I'll have to check when. It should be all right.
But no, it's great. And you know, obviously you've got like other things as well, like Unit 7, which is more I think bike orientated and bike focused, but they still do.
To be fair, Unit 7, when they started up, I did quite a bit with the guys on there. Because it's Llanelli, not too far really. And I remember coming over, I did a Christmas market with them with Rolling Project. I had one of the barrels, a whiskey barrels, and I had on the books there. And I used to do quite a bit down there, but I find because I spend a lot of time in Caerphilly, it's hard to put, and it is motorbike oriented. Sometimes I feel it's the same with Baffle House and Cedars.
It's
almost like I don't want to take my car, especially that it takes a lot of space, and I feel I don't want there's more better vehicles to appreciate. That's how I put it, and that's what I feel with like unit is like it's a motorbike scene. Sometimes I overthink things quite a bit. But it's almost like I sometimes I just they deserve like the bikes in it. But I'll always support them. I'll tag them or share whatever they have. It's just but it's a good place. Unit down there.
It's awesome. I mean, I've been there again loads of times as well. And since they had that Burger Bros put in there as well, the food, it's just incredible. Like it's really good there.
It is nice.
But I mean, that's what's great. Again, you know, the Pits has recently opened, and I think Ignition's been open for, I don't even think it's been a year. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But it's amazing that you've got these little venues that are just popping up, because I think there should be more of them. Because they're great, and again they're really accommodating of all the different events, and it's great to go there and see familiar faces and have chats and that sort of thing. So.
It's just like with what I'm thinking to do with the 4x4, or even if the Triumph can make it, is do a bit of a road trip to like go to these places, because you can do that now, and I think a lot of people only want to support. I don't know if it's like that anymore, but it's like. Used to be, like the old school motorbike stuff. It would be like, I look after that place. You just go there. So now it's almost they've opened the door to like, let's do a road trip between these spots.
I mean, you couldn't you? Because you could do the Pits, and then you've got is it Regos over the top of that, and then is it Bettis Mountain then?
You got is it Llangynder or there's one Bakery Cowell.
I'm not sure which one it is.
But and then as well on weekends, I think this because of these little hubs. Other places like coffee shops, and even like I know a place just up the road from here called Pant Glass, and we've done a lot with Pant Glass Hall. It's basically an old manor with log cabins, but we've tried helping them with cars and coffee events. So we bring the 4x4, the Triumph, maybe the Land Rover, which is not too far. But even places like that, they like on the weekend let's do a cars and coffee breakfast morning. So people go there, and then they go from there to Llandovery Llandovery. And then they could do a big loop and go over to Ignition Pits and all that. So
you should copyright this now.
I know, big stamp, like the coffee run or something like that. But I prefer tea to coffee or a pint today. But it's just. But but yeah, that's and that's the thing. Like I would, this is again going back to it. Like during COVID, I lived in Bristol for a bit, right? In COVID, and I loved Bristol, but because of COVID, I was just stuck. You can do it. And I lived on in Bradley Stoke, just outside Bristol Parkway. Right. So you got quite a main road there. So what I would do is post on Instagram and do like a drive-by shoot.
Really?
So I'd walk up, because on your hour of walk, I'd take my camera, and people would just pass. And if they don't know me, I'll just take photos. And guaranteed, you go on to like Bristol car clubs, you'll find that guy or that person. So I would do that. And that became a bit of a thing during COVID in Bristol, because they knew that I was going to be walking at 6 o'clock at night. And it became a thing. And I've always wanted to do my own events. But it's like, there's so much to think about. But I would like to do like it doesn't have to be supercars. It could be, a shed on wheels. It could be.
There's definitely a market for that.
And that's one thing I would love to do. And it's a great way to meet people, because you do see it with a lot of car clubs now. They are opening it up to anyone. Yeah. And as a youngster, you'd probably be in the same with the Toyota, with the C2. I had a Hornet exhaust, 1 litre engine, bonnet pegs on it. The bonnet pegs on because a latch came off my hand. But it was just like, you felt unwelcomed in some places. Yeah. But now some car clubs, they open it up. And
it's definitely opened up a bit more.
But I also agree with don't be a dick type scene as well. I'm very pro that, because it is a family thing as well. You go to Baffle House and stuff. You saw so many kids, and they pick up cameras now as well with their mobiles, as their parents. That's where it's important. And then with how the industry going with vehicles, electric and so on, you want people to be kids to grow up. That shed on wheels, that little Land Cruiser, I really like that. You want, and when I go to events with a Triumph, because it's still a rolling project, I'm not too precious about it. No. We go, if some kid's looking around it, sit in, jump on it, beep the horn, or we'll start it up and they can sit in it. It's just, I think that's what I would have wanted as a kid. Yeah. And you do see that with many car clubs now as well, because they're introducing more of a friendly space. Yeah. And that's where cars like Cafe and Machine, stuff like that, they've adopted that with their don't be a dick. And I know. I remember one slogan they had or something like, your wallet doesn't mean your... there was a good slogan there on the wall, but it was about like money. It's like, it's just like someone can love their... if you want something to sum me up, right? I went with this car club. They were mainly supercars. We went to Cafe and Machine in the Cotswolds. Right. We went there, and they packed up all in front of the building, and a Volvo 340, like a hatchback rear drive, number 8, like 80s car, parked right next to them. I was all over it. So that's me in a nutshell. It's like, that's like... that's the type of thing I like. I know that's my interest, but I still appreciate those machines, the supercars. Because, but that's where I think, which is the positives of the car culture now, where it's more open to the beginners. And I try and encourage, I encourage creatives to be part of this. And you can, if you have a client that you're doing photos with and they want to print, mention us. Your photos will be published, and even if you want to credential, so for example, if you're going to Goodwood now, so we were media in Revival one year, right? Nice. Because we print, so you have to have credentials to do it. So if you're a photographer or a creative and you're going to an event and you're looking for someone to be behind you, don't bite. Feel free to ask her. We can we can work together. We'll say, say if you want to go to do Goodwood, say, I'm going to do Goodwood on behalf of Rolling Project. I'm a little company down in West Wales, but we can help creatives by doing that. So that's where the credentials come in. And I love when I see like people starting doing photos. It's so impressive, and then you just see yourself in it, really. Yeah, no, it's nice. So in terms of what's next then for Rolling Project yourself, what's the plan? What's next? What can you tell us? YouTube is the biggest project on the go at the moment, like outside of the print side of things. So the aim was, like, I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to history. When I talk about, you probably see when I talk about these vehicles, like I love the war, talking about the history of how these came about, the Agson steam engines. So the Rolling Project YouTube channel is going to be a bit more, behind the scenes, a bit more about print, what we do with the projects, a bit more like raw. It's not almost like a business type side of things. It's almost a bit more of a portfolio for myself in a way. So it'll be like raw footage of us going on road trips in Tilly Toyota. We're actually going to America now in October.
Oh, nice.
For honeymoon.
Yeah.
But I've made sure we're going to Indianapolis Raceway. So I'm going to do a bit of a video on that, So it's sharing my interest of basically what the podcast, showing why this has come about. And so, but also history. So we're doing a lot about key motoring history points in Wales and so on. And it can be from motorsport to any vehicle. So, for example, one of them will be a documentary I've done on Amelia Earhart.
Right.
So she was the first woman pilot to go fly over the Atlantic, but she was also the first woman passenger, but she landed in Bury Port, just down the road.
Right.
So we've got a documentary on that. But also, there's something for everyone, and you probably see one of them and you go, this is crap, I'm not going to bother watching it because it's not car oriented, right? It's going to be planes.
Yeah.
Another one we're going to talk about is, like, it's quite close to my heart, is the coal mining, because around in the valleys where Caerphilly, where Chloe's from, you got Singhaenedd, and Singhaenedd was the largest mining disaster in the UK. And I did a documentary on that a couple of years ago actually, and that was for a different YouTube channel. And I got quite emotional, and because I'm a Welsh speaker, I'm a fluent Welsh speaker, I went up to Eglwys Silen to have a look at the church where a lot of them were buried, and every gravestone was in Welsh, being in a valley where it's mainly English now. So it hits you a bit, and that's why I got that hook of, I like this, because I can show my real me, because I geek out on it. But yeah, the coal mining industry here in the Gwyndrath Valley is big. A lot of the coal here went on the Titanic. Went to do steam coal. So steam coal in Wales was the best coal. So stuff like that. But also there is a video coming out. I don't think I want to say much about it, but there is.
You're going to give us a sneak peek.
Yeah, but I'll try to beat around the bush really, because. But basically, there's a hidden racetrack in Caerphilly. Right.
Okay.
So not many people know about it. The council or nobody's put a blue plaque up, but it was a golden age of racing, and there was an old track, and you probably drive it every day.
That's really interesting.
People drive it every day, and they probably don't know about it. So we've got a documentary. That's one of the first videos to go out, because I'm
looking forward to that.
It's crazy, because I remember coming across it. I remember seeing the photo. I remember seeing the photo, and it's basically an old Bugatti, vintage old Bugatti. I don't know the model names, but it was like the golden age, open wheeled thing. And I looked into the photo, and then I was like, God, it says South Wales. I looked into it, and it was on my doorstep. and it made you realise, like, there's history in every corner, and motoring history. And like, I work with Osian Price, and Osian, he's got a stage in Machynlleth, and like a gravel stage, and doing research, he found out it was Senna's stage, Ayrton Senna, when he would come over and do some rallying. That's where he would do it. And you don't know, and Wales with the rally, again, going back to rally, every stage in Wales, Brechfa, which is a couple of miles up from here, Brechfa was the stage of, people. It was one of the most iconic rally stages. You got Halfway, which is near Llandeilo, Llandovery, one of the fastest stages in the calendar, There's so much history like that. So Rolling Project is almost, the YouTube channel will also be almost like an article. Right. Like, if it was a book, it would be a book. So we're the circuit one now in South Wales, that would be a book eventually. We got Babs one as well. The video hasn't been done, but the book has. So you can buy the book down in Pendine.
Right, okay.
So we don't actually have it here. So that would be, I'm not sure if it's in the shop yet, but we've sent them over. So, Babs was another one, which is in Pendine, which is just over the estuary, really. So, and that was another car my grandfather taught us about, growing up. But Rolling Project's got a lot going on. Get the wedding oven done with first.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tilly, we've got a lot of plans for that. We want to go over the Dolomites, but there's a lot of work. So that would be a series in its own.
Yeah.
But yeah, YouTube will be the big one. But more than that, I think I want to just promote more of the print side of things. Because at the moment, people probably Rolling Projects always had a different type of face every year.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's he up to now? But we've got what we're doing. We know what we're doing, and from now on, it's going to be like that. So it's just making sure people understand, right? This is what we do.
No.
But also the YouTube gives us a bit more behind the scenes, more me and others, and we want to do interviews. So if anyone wants. We're always, like you said, we're probably always looking for content.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to be part of this or a video, give me a message because I'm always looking. So, and we'll definitely put it in then. But yeah, the YouTube will be the big one.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's not going to be an overnight sensation type thing. It's just going to be a little gradual thing. But we've got a couple of videos ready to go. It's just making sure we've got the time to put more in, isn't it? But yeah.
And in terms of obviously how people can contact you, get in touch, buy these things and start working with you to create some of these amazing booklets, what's the best way to contact you?
At the moment, it's direct message via social media. We have a website. You can go through the website, fill a form out through there or message. We are working on, I am in the process of getting a business email for Rolling Project because at the moment it's a Gmail.
Yeah.
Just because I got my other business that's taking all my money and all that, and that's all proper. Yeah. But if you can contact me through there, it's the same number, so phone number. But yeah, all the details are usually on the back of the print or social media. Just direct message is the best way, really. Yeah. But yeah. That's the best way to get in contact.
Perfect. And then last one, shout outs. This is where I shut up and you can ramble on and shout out. You've already mentioned a few already, but any sort of special shout outs that you want to give now?
There's loads of shout outs. You can't thank. I don't want to. If I list everybody, you're going to miss someone out. That's the big thing. But especially over the last couple of weeks, when we had that hiccup with the Instagram, the amount of support we had there. We were 200 followers within one day almost. No. So anyone who followed, and appreciate that. And I just big thank you to everyone who supported this because I think, like we've talked about, you have to start somewhere. Yeah, 100%. And that's where I did, and it's got to a little thing. It's on the podcast now. But it's just like, thank you to everybody who supported it, and even the businesses and connections I've made from Baffle House to Unit 7, it's Pembury even, and then the boys in the rallying, like Oshan. I'm very grateful to Oshan because, little old me, it's like having someone that, you idolise really. And he's not, he's 1 or 2 years older than me really, but he's so successful in what he's done. No. And now he's got loads of other photographers and media outlets wanting him. And even the opportunity just to be on the stage or watch him test the cars, that was amazing. No. So I'll always be grateful for that. To be fair, grateful for Chloe, my better half, because she loves her cars more than anyone as well, to be fair to her. No. So being able, she got me in, she basically told me to quit my previous job, really, to go into my business. And she's the one that supports me through this. And my father, to be fair, like without him, I wouldn't be in this position with, like he takes care of looks after the car. Like you saw the Triumph. Yeah. I live away. So, and he got me into that. But yeah, thank you very much for you as well putting me on this. No, not a problem. But yeah, there's loads I can thank, and even all I won't name, but the car clubs and anyone I've met on the way. No. And again, the people I've met in the first magazine, it means so much. No. It does. And yeah, it's hard to give back sometimes, especially when I started that. I promised the world, and I think you have to sometimes. But like Rob, I still message him now and again. It's just Harriet, I still follow her. She does loads of photography. It's just brilliant to be able to still do what it's still a side hustle. It's still something I'm passionate about. But so I thank you.
No, I mean, I think hearing about your journey, obviously about childhood upbringing,
Yeah.
and you know, some of the difficulties that you've mentioned there, and how cars as I think, yeah, being that outlet for you, I think is probably safe to say, and it's helped so much, and obviously into what it's become now with obviously your grandfather, your father, the stories, and obviously all that. No, thank you for sharing that, because like I said, like off camera at the beginning, selfishly, when people are as passionate and as good at what you do as you are, there's so much that, like, again, I can just sit here and listen to all the different stories, and when we're geeking out about fonts and typefaces, and like you said, with the wireframing and all these different things that you're doing with that. No, it's awesome. So I hope the wedding goes well. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully we got both cars going now. So the Triumph's had a lot of work, and I'll be taking that. And then my brother's a lot taller than me, and with the Triumph, it's quite low to the floor.
It is.
And we've put new seats in, and it's actually pushed you up.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll fit, really. But you'll have to go lean back, and then Chloe, then she's got the dress. So I don't know how that's going to fit. But the 4x4, she's taking that for the brides, my bridesmaids. So, and that's, again, like, I'm very lucky for that. I'm with people that also love it and understand. Like I rent, I don't buy, I don't own a house. I'm looking to buy it next year now. But my interest and passion has always been cars because of what it's meant to me. Yeah. And I'm always on the road. I'm always moving around. I love, I don't like being pinned down somewhere. No. So that's what a car means to me, really, isn't it? And that's definitely for a lot of people listening, and they probably agree. You watch the guys on Top Dead Centre and like the Cream podcast, like Will and them, they're the same. They spend all their money on their cars because it's what they love, and again, emotional. And that video Will did with Murcielago, I'm not sure if you've seen it. He sold everything, like all of his cars and projects, and taken a lot of money out to buy his dream car. And he was in the video, I got quite teary because it showed exactly what we feel about our own cars. Again, it's not a sports car, it's something that breaks a bank, well, when it comes to fuel maybe. But that shows how much cars mean to people. And it shouldn't be like, and unfortunately people are going against cars and machinery, and because of that. And it's good to see, and that's where the one perk for digital with YouTube and video, you do feel connected with a lot of people. And that's one perk for being digital. So, and if you're and one thing to finish in, if you are a creative starting out, just like we were, just start. And that's the biggest takeaway I can give you today. Really, is that's how that started. And that's how it, if you don't ask, you don't get. Be a little cheeky.
Little cheeky got me in free supercars, so I'm happy.
You have to be, especially being a creative. But just start it. Don't give a shit. Don't care about what you post.
That's the big thing, isn't it? Get over that first initial cringe, that first, however many reasons there are for you, pressing post on whatever it is, or starting out. Just as soon as you get it, it all becomes so much easier, and that's where the opportunities come.
I'm sorry to ramble on, but it's just I was talking to one person recently, and it was at Buffalo. So I arrived, and he asked, "Oh, can I have a quick chat?" And, yeah, we had a chat, and basically he asked me about Rolling Project, and he basically had his own ideas, like a clothing, and I thought he showed me drawings, and I was like, why am I not seeing this already? It should be on. It should be online. He's already got an account. It should be online. And I just thought, if you just start, some things will move. And that's the biggest takeaway. If you're new to anything, I know it's hard. It is hard to start again. Like I couldn't bear to start again. When I lost that account, I was like, I've had this for 10 years, and my account just disappeared underneath me. I just didn't want to start. But it was thanks to my Chloe and my mum and dad, basically. Well, my mum was into bits because she always loved Rolling Project, like an idea. And they were I remember posting on Facebook just to say, Rolling Project shut down on Instagram, And a lot of people just meant, Ben, if it was anyone, do it again.
No.
But that's exactly what I would say to anyone else. But I was a hypocrite, really, because I just went,
no.
you know, and it's easy to do that. So if anything happened, just carry on, just do it again. So yeah, well, but just start. That's
yeah.
what, yeah.
Well, on that note, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. I hope the camera's not gone.